So the first thing I'll say is the importance of setting a space up when you're going to be drinking tea. I think that this really helps to promote an intentionality to the ceremony that you're going to be doing and how you ultimately experience tea. So, whatever works for you. I like to light candles. I like to have flowers. I have a little Buddha guy here, a little offering cup for him. It's whatever you like. But maybe taking something from nature, bring it to your tea table, something that to you speaks to the places that you would like to get to, peacefulness, contentment. So having objects of importance to you personally and bringing them to your table to set that mood. The next thing is that I think the most important thing to me about creating a cultivation practice with tea is the recognition that so much about it is about listening. Don't be too rigid about things. Don't expect something from tea, even if you've drank it for years. Come to the table just like you would with a friend and think of it as a conversation. I'm sitting down with this tea, I'm bringing myself, the tea's bringing itself, and we're gonna have a conversation. So with that in mind, we start with the tea. So for me personally, there are certain types of teas that promote a meditative and grounding energy. And for me particularly, these are aged Liu Bao teas, Shou pu'ers, and aged Sheng pu'ers. So mostly I drink aged Liu Baos and aged Shou pu'ers from the mid-90s to the early 2000s, and I find that these teas are not only affordable, but also create the appropriate energy that I'm looking for to help promote my meditative practice. So I'm going to be drinking this Liu Bao tea. So I'll just put that in my pot. And now, I'm not going to be teaching you how to brew tea, but I'll be narrating a little bit of what I'm doing just because I'm doing it. So I just give it a quick rinse. And to me, this is all about where the listening process starts. When I first started drinking tea, I really couldn't get too much into it. I really just had to go through the motions. The listening part comes from experience. Just like, again, when you meet a new friend, you just have to be present and listen. And over time, your conversations will become more deep because you've gotten to know each other. But just paying attention, creating an empathetic connection with the leaf, having the intention of showing up and being here, having a concept of gratitude. This tea has come so far. So many hands have been involved in bringing it to the table. Being conscious of your own movements, this is promoting a moving meditation. And if you're experienced drinking tea, you know that your intentionality and the energy with which you pour has an impact on what the tea will give you itself. So, I can just offer a little tea in gratitude. And just feel it in our body. Okay, so I take my first sip, can close my eyes and reflect, where am I feeling this tea? Where am I tasting it? Where is it hitting my tongue? For me personally, energetically, I feel it up in my head around the third eye area, and I do feel a little bit of heat generating on the sides of my body. And just noticing this is enough because it's the conversation. the listening. Listen to the sounds, the water. And I think that the props help for sure. I did not have a meditation practice when I was first introduced to tea, and you couldn't ask me to go sit for 20 minutes in the stillness, but I think that there's a kind of convenient benefit to the fact that tea involves these props. It's kind of like giving a child something to play with. There's a little bit of distraction here for the mind, but it's not distracting in the sense that it takes us away from ourselves. It involves us. It pulls us in. It facilitates presence. And so also something I like to do is, I might not do it this early. I might get to the third steeping or so, but as the energy of the tea really wakes up, just, sit with it. Close my eyes and feel how the tea is moving through the body, how my energy is influenced by it. I'm noticing right now that this is a really hard thing to talk about because it's kind of like the experience itself is the practice. In my experience, tea really guides this for you. You don't need to really think about it. It's just the nature of tea itself, and that there's so many nuances to how it can be brewed and so many environmental factors that it can affect it. It requires you to bring yourself to the table. And in doing that consistently over time, you learn something about yourself, and it just happens, and there's no point in forcing it. You don't need to plan on having something happen. All that I feel is important is that you make a consistent effort to show up with the tea. And again, it's a convenient excuse because this is the same way that the fruits of meditation come about. If you just meditate once a week, haphazardly here and there, you're not really going to get much out of it. Same thing as if you're going to the gym. If you go to the gym for 3 days in a row and then you skip for 2 weeks, or if you're you lift really heavy weights only once, you'll feel pumped up after that first session, but it really won't have any lasting effect. The things that have lasting effect is little things consistently over time. Just like how the Grand Canyon was formed by the softest of elements, water, over time, carving through that rock. When we show up consistently with tea, we're allowing tea as a teacher to erode parts of us away. The deliberateness with which all movements happen. Where is our focus? How's our posture? Where are our hands? And it's not about holding us to something rigid, as I said. Rigidity, I think, can be the enemy of true cultivation. Because if you're rigid about something, you're not present. You're not listening. You're just taking some experience from the past and imposing it on the present. And if you do that, it reminds me of this parable. I don't know if parable is the right word, but this story maybe of you know, an ancient master and some scholarly person comes over to his house and has some questions for this wise man. And the wise man sets out some tea. And the master pours some tea. And he's continuously pouring and pouring until the cup is overflowing. And even though the cup's overflowing, he's still pouring. And of course, the scholarly man calls his attention to, hey, like, stop, my cup's full. And then, of course, the wise man says, well, your cup is full too, and therefore there's nothing I can teach you, right? So if you're showing up already knowing everything without any space or curiosity, room for learning, then none will come. But if you come to the table with curiosity, with a sense of wonder, with intention of being present and learning, then tea will facilitate many things. So I hope this short presentation has been helpful and interesting to you. I offer a full Gung Fu Tea course and go more into depth into all areas of things with Gung Fu Tea at learngungfutea.com. So if you're interested in things like this and want to check it out, feel free to head over there. And I'd love to share what I have with you. Thank you.